Good morning and welcome to northeastern Washington State. I am in Colville National Forest, and more specifically, this behind me is Sherman Pass. At 5,575 feet, this is the highest pass in Washington that's open year-round, even in winter. Obviously, snow isn't really an issue this time of year, although, as you saw in that drone footage, I think, that opening drone footage, there's a mountain right here that still has snow on it. And, there's still snow to be found in these parts, but in general, it's beautiful and clear right now. A road called the Sherman Pass Scenic Byway goes through this mountain range, and this mountain range is called the Kettle River Range. I'd never heard of it before, but like I said, so there's this one mountain right here that has snow on it. We are going to be exploring this mountain range by climbing a mountain that's on the other side of the pass, one that does not have snow on it, hopefully. It's right here. And to get to the trailhead, we're going to take this short little spur road that leads to a trailhead that's just over here somewhere. And if you're new to my channel or to this series, I recently got my motorcycle license, and so I bought this scooter to go on an adventure on for a couple $1,000s. This is a 2014 Honda Forza 300, and I rode it from my home in Wyoming up to Canada, and then down into the northeast corner of Washington where we are now. And in this video, we are going to continue riding, and we're going to make it all the way to the Pacific Ocean. In this video, we're going to cross the entirety of Washington State over, I think, 3 different days. And I think also that this right here is the little trailhead. Yes, it is. All right, so let me park here and let me change out of my riding gear into my hiking gear, and we'll hit the trail. Here we are, Kettle Crest Trail number 13 north, which means we're going this way. And I'm getting a little bit of a later start than I often do in these videos. It's 10 o'clock right now. I was up earlier, but I had to run back to a gas station to get some more water. And then as I was looking at the map of the area last night from my campsite, so I camped in this general area last night, I saw 3 waterfalls marked on the map. And so I checked out each of those 3. The first one, I could kind of hear it from the road, but there was so much brush, so many trees in the way, and the slope down to the creek from the road was so steep that I couldn't get to it. I couldn't even see it. So that one was kind of a write-off. The second one was literally like 1.5 feet high, just like a little tumble on the creek. But the third one actually was a proper little waterfall, and it was just right off of the road. So I'll put that footage here, and I'll put coordinates to that, as well as everything else I see and do in the video description, if you're interested. This funky old cabin is the main reason I wanted to do this hike, and it looks like something out of a fantasy novel. You imagine an old hermit living in something like this in the woods, in the deep, dark woods. It's so cool. I think this is an old fire lookout tower, but I don't know when it was built. I'll look it up as I'm editing the video, and I'll put that on the screen. There's really nothing inside. Just an empty cabin. Looks like the ceiling has been restored to some extent. These are modern pieces of lumber up here. This is so cool. I love the slanting walls. I love how they're not just straight up, but they come out at an angle. Do these open up? There might be locks on the outside. It's not huge in here. It's probably, I don't know, 8 by 8 8 feet on a side. What an awesome little shelter. I think you can stay here. You can sleep in here if you want. Outside we have a lot of, I guess, amenities, we can call them. Got a big fire pit. Got some nice benches. This would be an awesome place to spend the night. And then the view is somewhat obscured by trees, but we do have some great views of the snowy side of the mountains over across the way. And the pass, Sherman Pass, where we started the video, is between this mountain and that one, so it's down there somewhere. Oh, there's a latch right here. There we go, on the inside. I thought there was a latch on the outside. Okay, the windows do open. I missed that the first time around. What a cool little hut. I want a little cabin like this in the forest. And this feels nice. I feel like every mountaintop needs a reclining bench like this. It wasn't too bad of a hike. There was a trail the entire way. It took me an hour and 22 minutes. It was 3.26 miles and 1,257 feet of elevation gain. So yeah, not bad. Again, if you're looking for a mountain to climb for the views, this really only has views in this direction, and then there's forest kind of semi-obscuring the views in the other directions. But I mean, it's totally worth doing for that fire lookout tower. That is a really unique structure. I'm gonna retrace my steps down. I found a GPS track of someone who made a loop and kind of went straight down this ridge to meet back up with the trail, kind of a shortcut like down the steep side of the mountain. Maybe I'll take that to get back to the trail and then follow that to the parking lot. And then once I'm there, I think I have just like a couple hours of riding to do. We're gonna just be riding through the mountains and the valleys of this part of Washington as we make our way westward. Got a lot of ground to cover. I think in the course of this video, we're gonna cover 600 or 700 miles across Washington. I don't know, I'll have the exact number for you at the end of the video.
It's interesting, we've kind of left the green mountains behind, left the pine trees, left the green rolling hills, and now we're in sort of the high desert that you get on the east side of the Cascades in Washington. And I'm gonna stop in this town. I don't know what this town is called. I think there's a sign up here, and get some lunch. There's a taco stand that I think I'm being led to. Let's see, entering Tonasket. That's the name of this town. I've been riding for about an hour and a half, and I want to say like 120 miles, but that doesn't seem right. I don't know. I'll put on the screen here how long it's taken and how long the distance is. And I think our taco truck is up here somewhere. This is really only the second real town that I've passed through. The first, let's see. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, let me backtrack. The first town was called Republic, and that was a neat town too. Kind of had an old west mining town vibe. All right, Pablo's Taqueria number 5. Authentic comida mexicana, authentic Mexican food. All right.
Oh, that's way bigger.
Okay, back on the road again. That was just a quick stop. I guess I do need to get gas before I really get out of town here. But once I do that, we'll be back on the road. And I have about an hour and a half of driving to do, over 80 miles. We're now going through the town of Chelan, and I've never been here before, so I wanted to make the little detour to go here. And I've never seen the lake in person. Lake Chelan is I believe it's the largest lake, at least the largest natural lake in Washington. And it is the third deepest lake in the country after Crater Lake in Oregon and Lake Tahoe on the California-Nevada border. It's a very long, skinny lake. It's like 55 miles long and only a mile or two wide. We are going to drive along the edge of the lake for a little bit, and if we find a spot to pull over and eat some raspberries, then we'll do that. Otherwise, the next item on the to-do list for the day is to go find a campsite. Pretty lake though. The air is a little bit hazy today. I'm not sure why. I don't think it's from fires. I think it's too early in the season for fires.
Guys, this campsite is just unbelievable. And even more unbelievable than this is the road getting here. So I had not planned to come up here. This is all kind of a surprise for me. I had planned to go to kind of the start of the road that leads up here, because I could tell that, that as that road crossed into national forest land, it was still paved, and that makes it easy on the scooter. But I just kept going, and the road continued to be paved. And so I ended up on top of this amazing ridge. The drive up here is one of the, I mean, it's got to be like the best scootering road in this region. It's paved, it's winding and curving. It's like the width of a single car. It is unbelievable. Look how good this road is. I don't know how long I was on this road for. I don't know how many miles. I'll put that on the screen here from the point where the road crosses national forest land to where I am now. And it keeps going for another like 5 or 6 miles, I think, along this ridge. This is called the Tyee Ridge Road. That's spelled T-Y-E-E. This road started off following a little river in the valley down below. It's got to be a couple thousand feet below me at this point. And then it led past a little established campground, and then it kept going up the valley. Then it started to climb up the side of the valley, kind of switchbacking its way up the mountainside. And then it got on top of this ridge, and then it just kept going. And again, it keeps going. So in the morning, we're gonna drive this as far as we can. At some point, the pavement does end, but we'll drive to the end of the pavement. And then also, I'll show you guys the ride on the way down. Just a crazy, crazy little road. And I have my tent set up and my chair set up. The scooter is looking good, and the tent rainfly is drying over here. It was wet this morning, and it was still wet when I took it out of the bag, so I'm letting it air dry a little bit before I put it on the tent. And let me show you on the map here roughly where we are. So we are essentially right here, like a little bit north of the middle. We're about right there. We started the day off about over here, then we went over this way and over here, and now we're about here. So tomorrow we'll go from where we are now, which again is about right here, to the Seattle area. And I can finally enjoy my dinner of kind of giant raspberries and some spicy pickle bites. I really like these individually, but I acknowledge that together it's kind of a weird combination. But it'll be fine. But yeah, tomorrow we'll go to Seattle. My brother lives in the Seattle area. I'll spend the night at his place, and then the next day we will continue our westward push toward the Pacific Ocean proper. So I'll see you guys in the morning, bright and early. We'll drive up this road. I'm excited. Good morning. Let's ride. I just cannot get over the fact that this road exists and that I just stumbled across it. Unreal. Oh, there's a coyote. Look at this. Mr. Coyote running down the road. Okay, I think we're coming up on the end of the pavement here in just a few hundred feet, so I'm gonna ride carefully. That's so weird though. Why does it end here of all places? That is bizarre. It's bizarre that this road exists in the first place and that it's paved. Let's see. What do we have here? Okay, so this is the road to Tyee Lookout, the fire lookout over there. But this still looks paved. Where does this go? Is it paved for much longer? Nope, it's not. Okay, well, this is the end of our journey, I guess. The reason why isn't important, just the fact that it exists and is a beautiful, beautiful little ride. I think the fact that it exists is enough for us. Okay, let's ride back to camp. I haven't packed up or anything, so I need to do that. And then I think I'll do a time lapse of riding back down, because I think the road to the campsite was even a little bit more spectacular than this part. And so we'll do that, and then let's see. It's 7 o'clock right now, 7 a.m. I think that in a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, we'll be in our first little town of note today, and we'll talk about that a little bit. I think I said earlier that we were going to stop at a town first, but I misspoke. We're at a little scenic, natural area with some pretty wild-looking rock formations. This place is called Peshastin Pinnacles State Park. I had never heard of it until I was just basically looking for things to see and do along the route, and this place came up. I think this is more popular as a climbing area, a rock climbing area, than a hiking area. But we're gonna be hiking anyway. Also, I didn't feel like changing into my hiking clothes. It's a little bit of a process, so I'm wearing my riding gear. This feels very snaky to me. I wouldn't be surprised if I come around a corner here and see a rattlesnake just sitting in the middle of the trail. And the view of the valley out here is just beautiful. This is the Wenatchee River out here. And then, I don't know if these are vineyards or apple orchards. There are a lot of both in this area. It's so green. And then we have, oh, look at the mountains. It's some higher, craggier peaks off in the distance. This has been a steep hike so far, and yeah, this is definitely a network of climber trails rather than hiker trails. These are pretty steep and switchbacking, but I have kind of crested the top now. And now I'm gonna follow this trail back down here. You can see the switchbacks over this way. This is basically what it looked like coming up. Just a series of tight switchbacks. Well guys, not changing into my hiking gear was the wrong choice. I'm just like drenched in sweat right now. But that was a cool little hike. Took about 45 minutes. It was a mile long loop with about 1,000 feet of elevation gain. So again, fairly steep. From here, we're gonna go about 15 minutes up the road to a fake Bavarian village in the mountains. Oh, and I should have given you earlier a shot of what the pinnacles look like, what the rocks look like from the parking area. Pretty cool.
Okay, welcome to Leavenworth. This is the fake Bavarian village, the fake little German village that I was referring to. Like this sign here says, Leavenworth Bavarian Village, Willkommen. So it's styled as like this little German village, and it isn't. I just realized this not too long ago. Like the road names are in German. It's funny. So it was actually just a regular old little kind of down on its luck town until the 60s, when a couple of Seattle businessmen who owned a building in town in Leavenworth here came up with the idea to turn it into a little German village up in the mountains. And so they did. And it's been like a city-wide, a town-wide effort, and now it's this kind of quaint little German mountain town. I'm not gonna stop and show you guys much of the town because I don't want to stop here. It's a super touristy town, and it's a Saturday morning, and so I'll just try to give you a good look as we drive through. See like the white and the brown of that building and of this one. It's supposed to be a really magical little place in winter. I think there's like a Santa's village, but I haven't been here in winter. Yeah, there's a German woman standing and holding a sign over there. Kind of a funny little place. But I'm ready to hit the road, and we are going to continue on through town up and over the Cascades. So we're kind of like finally in the mountains, in the Cascades here. And we're going to go up and over a pass called Stevens Pass. That's east of Seattle. It's the highest point on the route here. And again, I'm not going to film a ton of it or stop and show you guys a bunch of different things. I'm just going to record little clips here and there. Yeah, like right there, Bavarian Lodge. Right here on the left, Innsbrucker Inn. It kind of reminds me of those, like, have you seen pictures of those towns in China that are like little models of Paris? That's kind of the vibe that I get here. You know, it's like kind of cool, but also fake and kind of weird. But the setting is beautiful. It's in this pretty mountain valley. And so just to wrap up what I was saying, so we're going to go up and over the mountains, and then I'm going to go to my brother's house. I'm not going to really film anything there, but I will start filming again. I think late tomorrow morning is when I'll get back on the road. And so I'll see you somewhere in the greater Seattle area. And in the meantime, enjoy this riding footage.
Okay guys, it is the next day and we are waiting for a ferry. I just missed it. It's gonna be like 40 minutes until the next one, so we're just gonna enjoy the view, enjoy the beautiful weather. Nice sunny day. People are out here walking along the beach. There's a train passing by. Lots going on. This ferry leaves from Edmonds, that's where I am now. It's about 10 miles north of Seattle and goes to Kingston on the other side. And I just realized that it's actually clear enough that we can see some of the mountains. We can see Mount Baker. I think that's Mount Baker right there. And then over here we can actually see some of the mountains of the Olympic Peninsula. That is so cool. And more beach over on this side. One of the perks of being on a motorcycle-ish type device. First on, first off. Yeah, and we get front row seats. This is awesome. So that ferry ride took about 20 minutes and it cost $9 and saved me probably, I mean, at least a couple hours of riding, so totally worth it. It was great being on the ferry, but it feels good to be riding again. So we have a few things we need to do here. First, we need to cover some ground. We need to cover some miles. Second, I need to get some dinner. And third, I need to find a campsite. So that's the plan. Wow, beautiful. Welcome to the final camp of this adventure across Washington and of my scooter adventure across the western half of the country in general. And welcome to the rainforest. What a beautiful place, and what a stark contrast to the high desert of a couple days ago. It's beautiful. And one thing I wanted to mention is that this video is not a greatest hits of Washington necessarily. You know, I'm not really driving the Pacific coast, which is beautiful. I'm not going to Mount Rainier National Park, which is beautiful. There's a lot that I'm not doing in this video. The point of this video was for me to basically fill in the gaps of some places that I haven't been to before. And so to that end, I hope that it was interesting and that it showed you some places that maybe you haven't been to before also. What a cool place. I'm only a few miles from Olympic National Park. I'm on the Olympic Peninsula right now. In the morning, we're gonna head to our final destination and we're gonna wrap up this video. And let me show you on the map what exactly that means. So today I rode from the Seattle area north a little bit, then we took the ferry across, and then I rode over to Port Angeles. That's where I went to the pizza place. That's where I got some pizza. And then I rode continuing on to the west, and I'm camped somewhere around here. And in the morning, we're gonna ride to the very extreme northwestern tip right there. I think it's the most northwesterly point in the contiguous United States. It's called Cape Flattery, and I've never been there before, so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I came in from this direction. I'm about 1.5 miles from pavement, so it was slow going, but the road really hasn't been too bad, and there really haven't been many campsites at all, like any campsites. This, I mean, it's kind of a stretch to call this a campsite. It's just, I mean, it's just a little side path that dead ends right here. But it's big enough for the scooter, it's big enough for me, it's big enough for the tent, so I have no complaints. I have a few hours of daylight still to kill, so I'm gonna eat some berries that I picked up at the grocery store a few hours ago. And I really hope it doesn't rain. I don't like packing up a wet tent in the morning. That's kind of a miserable experience. But I have the sinking feeling that even if it doesn't rain tonight, there's going to be a lot of condensation on and inside the tent. It's pretty muggy out here. So I think that one way or another, we're going to be wrestling a wet ball of nylon come the morning. And I think that's all that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. So I'll see you in the morning on the road to Cape Flattery. Good morning, it's 6:45. I've been up since 5:30. I packed up camp and hit the road, and I'm now about 1/2 mile from really the only stop that I wanted to make on the way to Cape Flattery. It's a waterfall. I don't really know exactly where to park for it, but hopefully there's a pullout along the road somewhere. It's not like a super popular waterfall, but I think we'll be able to figure it out. Like, I don't think there's going to be a sign or anything, or maybe there will. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, 300 feet. Oh, yeah. I just caught a glimpse of the waterfall through the forest, just over here to the right. Perfect. There is a little path here that leads to the falls, I presume. Oh, wow. That's really pretty. The problem is that this leads to the top of the falls, not the bottom. This is called Beaver Falls. Let's see if we can backtrack and find a way down to the base of it. Wow, that is surprisingly beautiful. Oh my goodness. Wow, that is gorgeous. It's not huge, it's maybe like 25 feet high, but it's fairly wide. You know, 75 feet wide, something like that. This beautiful pool here. This would be an awesome place to cool off in the summer, or to go fishing, you know, fish these little pools to the side. Wow.
And we are now finally just a mile from the parking area. From there, I think it's like a 5 or 10 minute walk on a trail out to like viewpoints of the beautiful rocks and sea stacks and everything. And this is Native American land. This is a reservation. This is called the Makah Indian Reservation, and you do need a permit for to go out to Cape Flattery, but then also just to do various other hikes and things that are on the reservation. It's called, I think, the Makah Recreation Permit or something like that. You can pick it up in town back there in Nia Bay, or you can buy it online. That's what I did yesterday afternoon. I paid the $20 fee and printed it out at my brother's house, and so that's what I've got. And you have to display that pass at the parking area. And it's a slow little winding road to get out here. This road in general, basically since I got to the coast like an hour ago, has been, I mean, maybe the best motorcycling road of this trip so far. Just like a slow winding road along the coast. It's been just a joy to ride. It would be great to drive too, but I think especially on a motorcycle or a scooter in this case, it was just so good. We made it to the parking area. Looks like there are 2 cars and an RV. We have a British Columbia license plate. And what is this one? Washington and another Washington. And we'll add a Wyoming.
Here's the trailhead at the end of the parking lot, and it says, "Welcome Cape Flattery Trail, Northwest Point, USA, 25 minutes. And for some reason there's a giant Adirondack chair here. Whoa! Okay, let's get to hiking. As we make this trek out here, I guess I should reflect on this trip so far, because this is the last video from this trip. Well, the last scooter video. There might be one more video in Seattle, but that's not really a scooter travel trip. I'm going to be selling this scooter, at least trying to sell it over the next few days here in Washington, and then I'm going to fly home. I have a flight booked for 4 days from now, and so I have that much time to sell the scooter. And I'm going to buy a small motorcycle after that, a small dual sport motorcycle, so an on-road, off-road bike that I can take with me on my adventures and go on adventures in its own right. Again, like I said at the start of this series when I left home, this isn't going to turn into a motorcycle channel, but you know, this is an adventure channel is how I think of it, and I like going on adventures, and sometimes that involves new vehicles, and sometimes those vehicles are scooter shaped or motorcycle shaped. I hope you guys have enjoyed this trip. It's been probably the most fun I've had on a trip in years, to be honest. It's just been so new and so fun and so hard also, and I think all of those things combined to make it just sort of the trip of a lifetime for me. Here's a little viewpoint off to the side of the main trail. What a landscape. There's like a cave right here. Okay guys, we made it. Check this out. What a stunning place. What an awesome place to end the adventure. We have all kinds of little caves and coves and islands. Wow, the most northwesterly point in the continental US. And then there's just a whole lot of nothing between here and Asia. There are a few different little viewpoint platforms here. This is the one that's farthest out, so this really is as far as we can go. And look at this. An island with a lighthouse on it. That's beautiful. Well guys, I think that'll do it for this adventure and this video. I'm gonna hike back to the scooter and then drive back into Nia Bay and maybe get some breakfast and a piece of pie. And then go back to Seattle, take the ferry again and be on my merry way. And if you're curious like I am, I'm gonna put the cost of all the gas on this trip, because again, the scooter gets like between 60 and 75 miles per gallon, depending on the terrain and how fast I'm going. So I'll put that on the screen also. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the adventure. I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.